A very warm welcome to you all. Thank you very much for joining us today for this presentation. A couple of housekeeping items before we start. This session will be recorded and you will receive a copy within the next day. And there will be time for Q&A at the end, so please feel free to submit your questions. You can use the chat or there is a Q&A function at the bottom of the screen, which you're very welcome to use throughout the presentation, and we'll be able to ask questions to all of the participants at the end. My name is Eleni Polykroniadou, and I'm the co-founder and commercial director of Sintali. Sintali is an environmental verification body that acts as a global certification provider to IFC for the EDGE Green Building Standard. Today, I'm joined by an incredible panel of speakers. I'm joined by Anna Danshina, the Director of Operations at Lion Green Park, Vu Quang, the Managing Director of Ardor Green, and my colleagues from SGS, Siriwatana and Naraketi, who will be talking to you about sustainability in green buildings. Now, the topic today is a big one. We're going to explore where green buildings fit within a sustainability strategy, how EDGE can be a useful tool for companies, and hear directly from a company who's actually been able to do it and really see the benefits. But before we get into the nitty-gritty about buildings, it's always important to zoom out. We talk a lot about sustainability, and sometimes we forget why we even have this conversation in the first place. But we are seeing rapid warming around the world. Climate change is happening and it's increasing year by year, which is affecting communities, it's affecting countries, it's affecting the resilience and the vulnerability of people, our economies, our growth, and our food. Now, around the world, we've seen commitments. We've heard about the COP agreements in Paris to really try and keep the worst impacts of climate change to a minimum by setting and containing the degree of warming to 1.5. Now, that might just be a number, but fundamentally that means all countries and all stakeholders coming together to really limit the worst impacts, to really change business as usual, and make sure that we protect our future and our present. Now, there's been a lot of commitments. Many countries have set net zero targets, many companies have set net zero targets, and we are making progress, but we are still a little bit far from where we need to be. And that's putting a lot of pressure. It's putting pressure on banks, it's putting pressure on governments, it's putting pressure on corporations to do better, to be more ambitious, and to really think about how they can change business and how they can really adapt to sustainability and integrate sustainability into everything that they do. Now, if we look at Thailand specifically, Thailand committed to reducing the total greenhouse gas emissions by 25% by 2030. Now, in the last climate conference, which happened at the end of last year, Thailand committed to reaching carbon neutrality by 2050 and reaching net zero by 2065. It also made a commitment to increase this 25% to actually 40%. Now, commitments at a top level may sound far away, but they do impact industry and they impact each and every one of us in this call. First of all, let's look at where the emissions are coming from on the level of Thailand. Now, as of 2020, you'll see on your graph in front of you that most of the impact is coming from the energy sector. Now, energy, we often think about pure energy, so coal, fossil fuels, etc. But actually, energy integrates into most things that we do, and we need and use energy to pretty much run society. So if we look at the breakdown of energy specifically, we'll see that almost a third is actually coming from the built environment, whether that's construction, whether that's running a manufacturing plant, whether that's the homes that we all live in, the hospitals that keep us safe, schools. Buildings account for a huge portion of the energy impact within Thailand. And that's really what we're here to talk about today, and really what we're here to bring to you. Because no matter what kind of company you are, whether you develop buildings or work in buildings or lease buildings, buildings are part of your company and therefore are a part of your carbon footprint and impact. Now, working in sustainability is never easy. There are many competing priorities. There's many things to do, many areas to focus on. And so it can be hard to focus on one specific sector. But having a green building strategy as part of your overall sustainability strategy can bring many, many benefits and is actually a really smart way to go about the issue. Because fundamentally, these net zero commitments that we hear from the top, this net zero commitment from the Thailand government will ultimately translate into pressure on you as companies to do something about sustainability and to look at your own impact. Every company needs a sustainability strategy. Now, whether you do that by setting something like a science-based target, which is gaining more and more traction in the corporate world, where companies are looking at the science of climate change and setting tangible targets to really reduce their carbon emissions, or setting your own sustainability strategy, you will need to do something. And stakeholders, whether they're your investors, your board, your customers, your fellow suppliers, are all asking for a sustainability strategy. And that pressure will translate to action. There's also pressure coming from the financial markets. But where there's pressure, there's opportunity. Now, 115 banks around the world have signed a net zero commitment, which actually covers more than 50% of the global banking assets. So 50% of global money is set to be net zero already, and more banks are signing on to that. You'll see in front of you the amount of money that's going towards green finance is increasing exponentially. More and more banks are looking for and trying to finance companies that have serious sustainability strategies, that are working on green projects, that are really trying to move towards net zero. And so whilst companies may be facing pressure from banks, from the banking sector, there's also an opportunity. And this is the reason why buildings can become a really interesting and important area to focus on when thinking about your sustainability strategy. Because if you can successfully integrate buildings as part of what you're doing, you may be able to get finance from sustainability-linked loans to green debt finance like loans and bonds to finance a specific project and be able to bring that value to your business. Because fundamentally, we know that every company has a mandate to be sustainable, but you also have a mandate to be financially responsible and a mandate to be able to protect the bottom line, to be able to do it in a way that brings business benefits whilst also meeting your CO2 reduction commitments. And again, that's where green buildings really make sense because you're able to meet your environmental goals, you're able to meet your emissions reductions, but also bring benefits to different stakeholders within the organization, whether that's looking at the investability of your company, improving your ESG rating, or accessing some of this green finance, to actually operational savings, which as energy prices around the world and inflation increases are going to become more and more important, to really the actual well-being of the people within the buildings that you have, all the way through to the better credibility, because buildings are tangible. We talk about climate crisis, we talk about emissions, sometimes it feels far away. Sometimes it feels intangible and very hard to explain and communicate to your stakeholders why it is you're doing what you're doing and what the benefits are. But with buildings, you can bring all of these different benefits as well as meet your sustainability targets and really help drive your commitment as an organization towards net zero. Now, I'm going to hand it over to my colleagues at SGS who are going to go into a little bit more detail about what you need to do and how you can really bring that building component into your sustainability strategy. Over to you, SGS.
Okay, thank you, Eleni. I will share my screen. Okay, when you look at your corporate commitment of reaching net zero, your building play an important role. The first question you need to ask yourself is, do you have an understanding of the carbon footprint of your assets? If your company has existing building, do you have a plan in place for the refurbishment of your building? After today's webinar, you will have the tool you need to set out your strategy and take steps you need to implement the plan. Before we talk about how to set a strategy, we need to set some definitions. The first phase of a net zero building is that the impact of construction is reduced, and then we shift into the operational energy phase. Reduction in energy demand and consumptions are prioritized to reduce the overall operational energy use of the building. Once you have the goal, you can start developing a sustainability strategy. There are 3 steps: evaluating, improving, and reporting. The first step is to evaluate where you are and understand what the actual impact of your building is. Buildings tend to fall into Scope 1 and Scope 2 category, but it will depend on the type of company that you are. So,
Okay, let's take a step clearly what DEAT is. Basically, DEAT is what will help to make every building in the world green and how. So DEAT stands for Excellence in Design for Greater Efficiency, and it was created by IFC, which is the private equity arm of the World Bank. So this DEAT is three things. It's a building design tool. They develop a free software tool that anyone can use and verify their projects in a matter of minutes. It's a green building standard and a certification scheme. Just give you a bit of sense what DEAT look at. DEAT is focused on the resource efficiency, and it look at three different categories. It look at the energy efficiency, it look at water efficiency, it look at the embodied energy in material. So to meet the standard, the building must improve its resource efficiency profile as 20% saving compared to the local baseline. A free software, this local baseline is calculated a free software tool called DEAT app. So DEAT app is a free software tool that allow anyone around the world to understand the efficiency profile of their building compared to a local baseline. It's a very friendly user interface, and what really does is simplify the complexity of green building and allow any stakeholder in the real estate industry, from an architect to an engineer, all the way to the financier, to access the data and make better decisions. So the local baseline is calculated based on the comprehensive data collected by IFC, including local building cost, climatic data, and typical utility costs for every building on this planet. And this is a huge advantage for developer, building owner, and investor around the world. The free software tool that you can truly evaluate the carbon impact of your building and see how your portfolio stacks up against your commitments. The tool also can help you to set a strategy on how to improve your buildings and reduce the carbon impact. To improve the efficiency as well in terms of incremental cost and return on investment. The company can use this web-based platform to evaluate what is possible and see what measure make the most sense, and set our long-term cost plan on how to meet the zero for all buildings. Okay, next. For the exit building, for example, you can set out the layer of improvement you want to make it the next couple years, and see what efficiency saving you can have versus the cost. This can become very powerful for company and also looking to access the finance for decarbonization. A company can get progress certified and use that certification to access the green finance. To meet the ACE standard, a user start working on an ACE application and get their building to be 20% more efficiency in energy, in water use, and in embodied energy in materials. To get the ACE certification, you have 3 different levels for the ACE. The minimum to reach ACE certification is 20% improvement across the 3 categories compared local baseline, and then you get a ACE certified. For the ACE advanced, this is look at a project must have to be 40% energy efficiency savings, and then at least 20% on the other 2 categories. And once a project has reached the advanced, if it is to reach the zero carbon, a project has to be at least 40% more energy efficiency saving on site, and then look to on-site renewable energy procurement of the green tariff, and topping off with the carbon offset for the operational energy. This can be particularly helpful for long-term planning. The company can be combined the different improvement into group of work, and which can come out more economically because of efficiency of scale, but also can be used in conversation with the investor to access a long-term funding. Once you have the sustainability strategy set, you can start to implement the chain and keep track of the chain of the portfolio over time towards zero carbon. None of this happen overnight. It's sort of a challenge, but the app and the aid process can make it accessible to all. It's turned the idea of implementing a green building sustainability strategy at a scale completely possible. This is also something that you can analyze very clearly what the Sustainable Development Goals or SDGs. Many companies around the world use the SDGs for communication purpose. The green building meet many of the SDGs and come together in a very unique way to evaluate what does the future look like. And by delivering the net zero building and providing this net zero outcome, so we can really address the major issues that exist and helpful to create a better world tomorrow. So this is show how a green building strategy and implementation of it can also be used to record international sustainability report scheme for the ESG report, internal and external sustainability report as well. There is entirely quantifiable, and so the reporting mechanism is very clear, which is clear data on the efficiency improvement, cost saving, and carbon dioxide saving for the communication to all stockholders is simple and straightforward.
So this is an example from below. Lindell in Denmark implement it at scale across 119 buildings. It is integrated as part of the company's sustainability strategy. They have chosen it because of its quantifiable nature and its ability to be used at scale across a lot of existing buildings. In this case, the client was also able to access financing by having the certification. And this was also true for another one of our clients, WDP Romania. WDP has a strong commitment to sustainability and bringing value to its tenants. It chose a certification because of the focus on energy efficiency and being able to bring that value directly to its client. The company was also able to access over 300 million euros in finance because of the green building certification. So Lion Green Park and others will share more details momentarily about their journey with it, but in summary, there are 4 steps to setting a sustainability strategy for your green building. The first one, identify what your commitment and business goals are. The second, evaluate the impact of your current building or your pipeline of new development. Third, Use the Aid app to identify improvements and set out a plan how you will meet your end goal. And finally, use the data from the Aid app to report progress along the way, and use the Aid certification to validate milestones along the way. I will be happy to answer any question you have at the Q&A. And until then, I will pass it online part and other.
Anna, you're on mute.
Good afternoon.
Yep, we can see you.
I'll share the screen, 1 second. Okay. I believe you see the screen, the presentation. Good afternoon, everybody. And thank you to the organizers for this opportunity to present our green project, Layan Green Park. We are very proud to become the first hospitality development in Thailand to achieve EDGE Advanced certification. Our project is located in Bang Tao area of Phuket, only 700 meters from Layan Beach, one of the most beautiful beaches on the island. In total, we have 4 buildings, 403 apartments, very well equipped, fully furnished, and we have a variety of facilities. We have 2 restaurants, a sky bar, indoor gym, outdoor sports ground, jogging path, yoga terrace, 3 fresh water swimming pools. We also have a kids club, indoor and outdoor areas designed for the kids. We plan to get the hotel license and get the 4+ star hotel rating. As you see, 100% of the structure is completed already. We now focus on engineering systems and the interior finishing, and we plan to start operations around 2nd quarter of the next year. It was a challenging time during pandemic last year, when the island was closed for the tourists, and it affected the sales, of course. And there was a lot of local restrictions on the island, but we are very proud that we managed to navigate all the obstacles. We continued the construction, and actually we never stopped it, even for a single day. Last July, a year ago, we were awarded a preliminary EDGE Advanced certificate for each of the 4 buildings. With the great help of our green consultants, our team in Vietnam. They are very professional, and they helped us to navigate all the steps to the certification process from the very beginning. We worked hard together online, and online it was the only possible way during pandemic, but we did it. We had a very great ceremony and had a lot of guests. Among the speakers, we had representatives from SGS, from Bangkok. Unfortunately, Ardor Group as well as IFC representatives could not join the ceremony because of the pandemic, but we hope to meet the teams maybe in autumn when we get certification for our 2nd phase. So getting the certificates and hosting the ceremony actually was the good, very great course for the press release, both in Thailand and overseas. It helped us to stand out and to be noticed, and in the end, it boosted the sales. Now I will shortly cover the parameters that we took into consideration that helped us to achieve advanced certification. Ardor team later will talk in detail about all of them. I will just cover. So energy saving solutions. We have heating insulation for the roof. We protect the roof from heating. Autoclaved aerated concrete walls. Q-con blocks has low thermal conductivity, therefore it allows to save energy on cooling. We have smart home system in the apartment. For example, the sensors on the windows and doors. When they are open, the AC is automatically off. Then a central inverter conditioning system is designed for each floor. It saves up to 40% in electricity bills compared to the conventional split systems. Solar panels will be installed on all the roofs. We decided to use the maximum of the roofs, the area for the solar panels, and we install low E glass for all the windows to prevent the indoor air heating. For indoor and outdoor lighting, we use LED. For the public area, we use motion detectors to reduce energy consumption. Now, for the swimming pools, we use purification system without chlorine, and the system itself reduces the water and energy consumption and our operating costs. And now we move to the water saving solutions. We have separate sewage system for shower and sinks. The water will be reused for the irrigation of the green areas of the project. Rainwater will be collected and treated for the further use. And we have water saving sanitary fittings in the apartment and public areas. As I mentioned before, the EDGE certification helped us to stand out and attracted attention from potential partners, future partners, and shortly after we were awarded the EDGE certificate, we signed the agreement with World Hotels. Now we are part of World Hotels collection. It's under umbrella of Best Western Group. We are regularly contacted by leading universities in Thailand, Bangkok University, universities in Bangkok and Chiang Mai. With the request, they request to visit the construction site and acquire knowledge and understanding of the design and construction of the green buildings. So on the picture, you could see the visit from Chiang Mai University. The students with the teachers came and spent some time learning about the project. So apart from the design and construction of the green buildings, we also plan to utilize the best practices in the management of the future condotel. And meanwhile, our company takes part in a variety of environmental conservation activities. We regularly clean the beaches on the island. We collaborate with the local environmental foundations and groups. For example, Oceans for All Foundation or Tree for Us Foundation, some other small local groups. So we are very, very grateful to our partners that helped us on the way in the process of certification. It's our design group RDM and our consultants Ardo Group. The Ardo Group supervised along the design stage, and they are supervising all what we do at this construction stage to make sure that what we build is in line with what we actually designed. I would like to pass the microphone to the Ardo Group right now, and they will elaborate on the details of the certification process.
Thank you, Anna, for the very nice presentation. We're going to share our screen. Can you see our screen now?
We can see
so good afternoon.
Presenter mode.
Okay. Okay. Is that okay now?
It's still on presenter mode.
Oh, sorry. Sangat Can you see it now?
Not yet. It's not sharing it.
Okay. Hi, so good afternoon. So my name is Quang Vũ. I'm the managing director from ADO. So we are glad that we are selected as the edge experts for this project for Light and Green Park. So today in this presentation, I'm going to go through some of the details that we have been applied. And we are so glad that this project has the edge preliminary certification. And right now that we're looking forward to have the edge final certification, which going to be happen soon in the near future. So just a brief about us. Auto Green is the edge consultants company. So we are based in Ho Chi Minh City. And so we have done a couple of projects overseas, including in Thailand, Philippines, and Laos, and also in other Southeast Asia countries. We also the edge expert partner as appointed by Sintali in HAS. So in our consultancy here in Vietnam and also in Southeast Asia, that we have applied for some of the commercial office and also residential apartment projects. We have done a couple of hotels over the places in Vietnam, and most of them are edge projects, as you can see on our slide here. And also that regarding to the edge, recently in the last couple of years, especially during the pandemic, we got a lot of attention from the clients to apply the edge green building certification for their projects. As you can see, there are couple of projects here from Thailand, including the La Vista Villas, which is also another project that is developed by Light and Green Park, and also some other projects that we have done mostly in Vietnam. So they're ranging from industrial project to the high-rise apartment to the startup office, and also hotels and some other kind of small scale like individual houses or the clubhouse project. Also that recently last year that together with Neo office based in Manila, Philippines. So this project has achieved the first edge zero carbon certified portfolio level. So they got 7 offices. So they appointed us as the edge expert. So we helped them to make the first edge zero carbon certified portfolio in the world. So we are really glad. And so we're looking for more projects also in Thailand to not only to apply the edge, but also targeting the highest level of edge, that is the edge zero carbon. So just about our shares, about the definition of green buildings. So as you can see on all images on the left, when we try to search images for the green building on the Google search engine, for example, you will see a lot of projects with green walls and lush greenery. But when you actually try to search on the right-hand side for the building that has been certified by the third party, like Edge Green Building Certification, or like LEED or some other international benchmarking, and you will see that most of the green building will not have a lot of green walls on them, but they look very common. But they do have a very good green building specification to ensure the better building performance for the building end user. So as you can see that on the left hand side is what we think as public, when they look at the green building, they want to see a lot of greenery. But as a technical point of view, like us as an edge expert, there's a lot of things that we need to consider about ecology. Also that we need to consider about indoor air quality, about comforts, and also 3 main important things that we look at for the edge, that are materials, water, and also energy. Those are the 3 categories that we look at edge green building certification. for all the projects. So usually that because for green building, obviously it is going to ask for additional costs, but typically green building can be paid back within 5 to 8 years. That is from our experience. In some other project, the payback period can be a lot shorter than that, within a couple of years only. So we see that green building is not only good for the owner, but also it's good for the building user too. It's provide good health, good wellness for all the building user inside the building. So Lion Green Park is one of our key projects in Thailand. Also, this is our first project too. So we are so glad to be appointed by Lion Green Park by Ms. Anna to be the edge expert. So from the beginning, we received all the very nice rendering from the building, and we look at all the architecture, structure, MEP, and also landscape and lighting documentation for this project. So we have worked together with the engineer and architects from Thailand, and together with the PMU from the clients, we try to optimize the building performance following the EDGE green building criteria. So the tools that we use for Lion Green Park is called EDGE Homes. So in EDGE Home that you can see there are 3 categories. The main thing is the energy efficiency measure. And then you will see the water efficiency measure, and the last but not least is material efficiency measure, which is the energy embodied in the materials. So these are the list of all the measure that are potentially that could be applied. So there are some category that we have not selected for the Lion Green Park, but there are others that we chose, and we asked the architect and engineer to follow the category from the EDGE Home. So in general, you can see that for the energy measure, there's about 10 to 15 common category. For the water efficiency measure, that you can see that is about 8 to 10, and also all the material efficiency measure that you can see talking about the floor slab, the roof construction, about the external wall, internal walls, flooring, window frames, and roof insulation. So it is up to the edge expert or the edge consultant to balance all of these categories to make sure to meet the client budget, and also to provide the most efficient building performance for the projects. So as you can see that when we go into detail talking about the energy efficiency measure, so for Lion Green Park, so we have to reduce window to wall ratio, HTE01, and also that we look at the external shading devices that is applied for all the window and also all the building facade. We have a very good insulation of roof, insulation of external wall, and also low E coated glass, which is the one that we apply for this project, which provide better thermal comfort for the residents. Also, there are some other category that we look at, including the VRV cooling system, the heat pump for hot water, and we ensure that all the lighting inside the building is LED, and together with the PV panels, which also help to improve the energy efficiency as well. So you see that from the beginning, the current designs actually already meet about 20% of the saving for the first time when we received the drawings from the designer. And then we have provide all the options to make them to become more efficient, to become 43% saving, and also more saving, like up to 49% of saving. So you can see that the comparison between the 3D perspective that we receive from the architects to the actual building on site right now. So everything has been followed thoroughly, and all the edge category have been applied to the construction on site, and also to all the contractors too. You can see that these are some of the insulation of the roof that has been applied for all the buildings as well. Regarding to the low E, so this is very good tools about for the edge expert like us, because with the edge app we can run different simulation for each different specification of the glass. So you can see that these are here, there's a different glass as suggested by the designer. So as a green consultant that later on we chose to have we chose the most efficient one, and also with a better payback years. So for the solar, and you can see that for this project that instead of using only low E for the glass or only PV panels for rooftop, we decided to use the combination of PV panels and also the low E coated glass, because we see that it can have, we can balance the energy saving, and also that we can balance the payback years with not a lot of incremental cost for the clients. For the water efficiency measure, you see that this part here is more easier to do because in Edge, they already have some kind of checklist for us to follow all the flow rate for the shower head, the faucet, the water closet, and also for urinal, and also even the kitchen faucet. So we made sure that all the water saving for this project is higher than 20% as required by the Edge. We did look at some specification as provided by designer, like Koto, Toto, or some other types. So in the end, this project has a very good water saving. And these are here are all the images that provided by the clients when they are doing procurement and when they're doing the selection for the water fixture. So all these images here has been sent to us, although that they are based in Thailand and we are based in Vietnam. But there's a very good collaboration during the pandemic time. So we receive many documentation. So and also that help us and also the project a lot. That is some of the images recently in June 2022. That is the construction on site. So we asked all the contractor to measure all the things that we have to support to the support document to the Sintali and HAS, including the photos on site and also the things that the contractor they are making for the buildings. So at the end, so we are again that we are so glad that this is the first Edge hospitality project in Thailand. Through this project that we see that there's a lot of interest about the green building in Thailand, especially in the Phuket, where the environment is very important for not only the project owner, but also for all the local residents here to protect the environment. And also one thing that we want to point out is that although that we are working long distance, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic over the last 2 years, but we see that when we apply the Edge, it's not difficult, frankly speaking. All the email, all the communication, all the weekly meetings are done online. So we feel like we are part of the team, although that we are not based in Phuket, Thailand, but we have all the good images, all the supporting document and drawings. So we have a very good team from the clients and from the designer, from the architects, from the contractor. They all supported us very well. So at the end, that we have a very good result. That is happy for everyone. So we are looking forward to have the Edge final certification for this project. Hopefully in early next year, and then we can share more great things about the sustainability of this project, and hopefully it could be inspiring for the Thai company and Thai people to make better projects in Phuket and also in Thailand. So that is my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you very much to all of our presenters. Hopefully you're all inspired, and hopefully we can bring everybody on this webinar to Lion Green Park next year when it's operating and we can all see it in person.
Okay.
Anna, I hope you can host everyone on this call. You're on mute. Oh, let me unmute you. I can't hear you.
Sorry. Yeah, everybody is welcome to come. We'll be delighted to host the event. Please come.
There's nothing like seeing it live, but I think we've heard so many wonderful insights just about the value that the sustainability has brought, not only to the business, but also to the community. I think it's really great to hear university students and students coming to learn, because so much of what we do is also about being able to bring it to everybody and being able to bring all of these benefits to the entire community, not just to the one specific project. And I think everything that we've been highlighted today really shows that there's so many benefits within the built environment that can be spread out across every single stakeholder, from the actual business all the way through to the communities around it. And it's really something I think that's important to communicate if you are in a position right now within your own organization and having these discussions internally, to really think about how can you tell the story internally to get corporate buy-in and to get everybody on board, is to really be able to show all of these different components, not just whether it's a certificate, whether it's the energy savings, whether it's the landscaping or the environment, but really all of it together. So thank you all so very much for your presentations. For all of our participants, please, I've seen some hands go up. Please put down your questions in the chat or in the Q&A section. If you would like to put it in Thai, we do have people who can read Thai and can translate, so feel free to write in either language, and we'll figure it out along the way. Whilst we wait for some questions to come in, I do have a couple of questions for our speakers. I guess I'll start with you, Vu, as you just finished off, and I have a question. So you have a very unique position of being able to work across so many different regions. And that's really interesting to see the trends of what's going on, whether it's in Vietnam, in Thailand, and Philippines. That's really quite a variety of regions. So from your experience and from the projects that you're working on, what have been the key drivers for companies that are doing this sustainability initiative? And are you seeing that growing over time? You've obviously been doing this for a few years now, and especially in a difficult period of COVID. So how has the trend changed over time, and what's really driving it? Vu, can I have that one for you? That question?
I'm sorry, can you just repeat the question?
Yes.
I'm just looking at the question from Pan's side, so I kind of
yes. I'll get to that in a second. Just what trends are you seeing from across the regions that you're working in? Are more companies adopting sustainability? And if they are, why? What's really driving it?
Yeah, I think that thanks for that question. I think that definitely when I look at your presentation and also from the Sintali and HAS, I see that there are some there's a slide mentioned about the ESG report. So recently that in Vietnam that suddenly in the post COVID-19 there are a couple of international companies, they start asking for ESG report. So, and then they see that Edge can be able to provide that kind of things for them. So we are so glad to help them with the Edge. And also that a lot of multinational companies, they do have some kind of like strategy plan toward the 2030 and 2050. So there's a lot of things that talking about the energy, talking about the water, talking about the materials and saving and everything like that. So I see that there's a trend now and everyone start following that, and not only doing the good things for the environment, but also that is to ensure for the better future to be more competitive in the market, to make the better products for the potential buyers.
Absolutely. And I guess that kind of ties into maybe Anna, a question for you, which is, what are the tangible benefits? I mean, you've talked about some of the benefits that having the certification brought to the business, but has it given you a competitive advantage? Has it really helped kind of elevate Lion Park's status? You talked about being able to access the hotel, the listings. Can you talk a little bit more about that? And then I'll also ask a question on the cost of doing it.
Sure. So I would say it helped us to stand out. So getting the internationally recognized certification helps to stand out for future potential partners, existing partners, and also for the clients, especially for the clients from Europe, because we have buyers from different countries like Asian, like Middle East and European countries. And And people coming from Europe are especially focused, they try to focus on like green building, on buying the asset with certification. It really matters to them. For them, they expect us to get some proof that what we declare is in line with what we design and construct, and that is given like the certification provides it, and also they expect to get the reduced cost on bills, electricity bills and water bills, and they expect the certification to give some additional value when the asset is resold in the future, and it gives the competitive advantage because the buyers they take time to select the right property, like to invest into, and green building, like it gives additional value. It gives us the highlight, you know, like we are recognized in the market. Everybody knows the project. People from Bangkok know the project. They come to see it. So it really helps in terms of like marketing, in terms of sales. Even during the pandemic, we did everything online, and we posted photos, videos, like, and we told the news, and everybody was, you know, in the loop. So I would say it helped a lot.
Absolutely. And I guess the flip side of that is you obviously gained a lot of these advantages, but did it cost a lot more money to design it to be green? Was there a huge, you know, upfront investment to be able to get all of these advantages?
So compared to, if you compare the cost of getting certification, like EDGE certification with other systems, it's not as expensive. It was around like 19,000, 18.6 thousand USD. But at the same time, like we had to be sure that all the partners are on board, you know, that they are willing to give extra effort, the designers, the contractors, and when we signed the contracts with them, it was included that, guys, you are committing. And they actually did not charge us extra, because they were also excited to be a part of the new, you know, green building project in the country. So it didn't cost that as much, like in terms of design, no extra cost. In terms of the construction, I would say all the well-known brands now produce, you know, environmentally friendly products. So you have a variety to choose from, and it would be a bit more expensive, but the benefits we get like cover all the, you know, the side, the negative sides of it.
Brilliant, thank you. And I guess you touched on it a little bit, but maybe I'll pass this to a combination of the SGS team and the Ardor team. But what are the differences between the different certification schemes, and is EDGE growing in Thailand, and if so, why? Maybe I'll start with SGS.
Okay, I think the EDGE is quite different from the other green certification because because of duration. To go through the EDGE certification, it takes at least 2 months to get. So it quite take a short time than the other green certification, and everyone can also access the EDGE application as you see in the presentation. So if everyone in company can see the information in the EDGE application. And it's beneficial for the company that have a commitment to the net zero carbon emission. Yes, I think this is the benefit of the EDGE, and it make the different from the other green certification.
Absolutely. Vu, anything else to add from your side, having worked on a variety of different certification schemes as well?
The other is certification. Before we have the lead service, yes, and to compare with the EDGE, it's quite take too short time.
Absolutely. Okay. Any additional comments from the Ardor team? on this?
Yeah, so I think that as the green consultant, that we have used a lot of different kind of green building tools, including the LEED or Green Marks or Lotus, which is the one that is locally available for project here in Vietnam and also the Edge. So our comment is that firstly that we need to look at the building budget. So if you have a lot of budget, obviously that you could choose to have the LEED system. But I think that if you also, but if you have not a lot of budget, and also that you want to have something that is fast, efficient, and something that you can manage, and also there's not a lot of risk. And I think so far and until now, Edge is still the best tool, at least from our own observation. And talking about incremental cost for the green buildings, from our perspective, it's only cost you about 1% or more. Recently for most of our Edge project here in Vietnam, so it would not hurt the client pocket a lot, and also that all those green initiatives will be paid back within 5 to 8 years or even less than that. So why not? I mean, it would not hurt you, and also it will be a good thing for the future and environment too.
Absolutely, absolutely. I think when you're talking about a 1% incremental cost versus all the benefits that you get out of it, it really is bringing benefits for all, and it's a straightforward, hopefully, decision. We are almost out of time, so I just want to take a moment to thank all of our speakers today and thank you all participants for joining us. If you have any questions, you will receive an email with the webinar recording and with contact information as well. So please feel free to get in touch. Big thanks to everyone. We're currently covering 5 countries, so we really have an international webinar today. So big thanks to everyone for taking the time to join in and share your insights. And we look forward to continuing this conversation and seeing a lot more green buildings across Thailand.
Sure, definitely.
Okay.
Thank you, Elena.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Bye.